To finish off what we were doing yesterday, we need to change a couple of settings on our calculator or make sure that they are in the correct setting. If you have your own calculator, put it aside for right now and I can make sure that your settings are good next week when I'm back. But for right now, everyone should be using one in class. We're going to start off by pressing this degree button right here and make sure that degree is underlined. If not, just tab over until it is and press enter. Now we can learn how we can find what the value of sine, cosine, or tangent is if we have an angle. So let's say we want to find the sine of 50 degrees. We're going to press the sine button, type in the angle that we want, close our parenthesis, and that's now giving us the value of that function. Now that we know how to do sine, cosine, and tangent on our calculator, we can use this to help us find a missing side length if we know what the degree is of our angle. So here we have a 44-degree angle. Now we just need to figure out which trig function are we going to use based off of the side lengths we're given. Well, if we look across, we see that 5 is our opposite side length, and then the x is across from our 90-degree angle, so this is our hypotenuse. So if you go back to the front page of 7.1 where we had all of our trig functions, we're going to figure out, well, which trig function dealt with opposite and hypotenuse. We have two options. We have cosecant or we have sine. Typically, we're going to focus just on our basic 3 trig functions because those are the ones that our calculator is going to be able to do. So we're going to say that the sine of 44 degrees is equal to the opposite, which was 5, divided by our hypotenuse of x. Now we need to solve for x. Since it's in the denominator, we're going to make sure to multiply both sides by x. That way, we are canceling it out on the right-hand side. And this will leave us with x times the sine of 44 equals 5. Now we're just going to divide by the sine of 44 to cancel it out. And with our calculator, we'll evaluate what we get. This will end up telling us that x is equal to 7.2 if we round just to 1 decimal place. So our next example, we're now dealing with a 32-degree angle. Again, we need to figure out which trig function we're going to use based on the side lengths given. So we look across, and x is our opposite side, 9 is our adjacent. This tells us that we want to use tangent. So the tangent of 32 will equal our opposite, which was x, divided by the adjacent of 9. And this time, we're going to multiply both sides by 9, since that's the value in the denominator that we are trying to cancel. This tells us that x is equal to 9 times the tangent of 32. And type that right into our calculator, we will get that 5.6 is equal to x. That is our missing side length. Now, let's say we want to go backwards and we want to find the angle given 2 of our side lengths. Well, here we're going to start off by, again, figuring out which function we can use. We have this angle that we're going to call theta, and we know the adjacent side length here, and the hypotenuse is here. This tells us that cosine is our trig function. So the cosine of theta is equal to 7.6 divided by 10. The inverse of cosine looks like this. And this is also a function on our calculator that I'll show you how to use in a second. When we take the inverse, instead of equaling 7.6 over 10, that's now going to go inside of our inverse function. And this is going to equal that angle theta that we're looking for. So now we'll type this into our calculator, and we will end up that theta, our angle, is equal to 40.5, and we do want to put that degree symbol on because our calculator is set to degrees, so that's the unit of measure for that angle. So to do the inverse functions on our calculator, we're going to see that they are the little ones in purple right here. So we're just going to do our second, and then if we want to do the inverse of cosine, we press the cosine button now, and then we can type in the value that we had of 7.6 divided by 10, and that's where we got 40.5 from in the notes. On our next one, we have the following angle again, theta. We know that 4 is opposite, 13.1 is adjacent. So opposite and adjacent is the tangent function. So the tangent of theta is 4 over 13.1. We're now going to do the inverse of tangent, which means our fraction goes inside our function, and that's going to equal our angle. Again, type this into our calculator, and we're going to get that theta is equal to 17 degrees.